Welcome to Amaravati, today's daily global roundup. Each day, we bring you a concise and insightful roundup of the latest global developments, ensuring you stay informed and connected to the pulse of the world. Prime Minister James Marape and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese convened the 5th Annual Australia-Papua New Guinea Leaders Dialogue in Canberra on February 8, 2024. Reflecting on the enduring cultural and geographical ties, both leaders reaffirmed their shared commitment to the comprehensive strategic and economic partnership. Prime Minister Marape's historic address to the Australian Parliament marked a milestone, reciprocating Prime Minister Albanese's previous address to Papua New Guinea's Parliament. The dialogue underscored advancements in security cooperation, economic partnerships, and labour mobility arrangements. Notable initiatives include infrastructure investments, energy projects, and joint efforts in climate change adaptation. The leaders pledged to further strengthen ties, emphasizing mutual cooperation and respect for regional unity through Pacific-led initiatives. The 8th Japan-Norway Joint Committee meeting on cooperation in science and technology convened in Tokyo on February 7, 2024. Chaired by Ms. Kaji Misako and Ms. Anil, representatives discussed national policies on science, technology, and innovation, emphasizing green transformation and responsible international collaboration. Attendees included Ambassador Kristen Igulm and officials from both nations. The meeting focused on enhancing bilateral cooperation in priority areas like health technology, polar and marine research, and emerging fields such as AI and disaster risk reduction. The dialogue underscores the commitment of both countries to foster scientific collaboration for mutual benefit, addressing global challenges and advancing knowledge-sharing initiatives. Following the Japan-Jamaica Foreign Ministers meeting in Tokyo, Ms. Kamikawa Yoko and Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith exchanged notes on Japan's grant aid of $1.2 billion for Jamaica's economic and social development program, focusing on the fisheries and marine sector. Acknowledging Jamaica's reliance on this sector for income and food security, Japan aims to mitigate the impacts of climate change on marine ecosystems through a dedicated research vessel. The meeting also emphasized bilateral cooperation in commemorating the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations and promoting cultural exchanges. Additionally, discussions touched on regional and international affairs, highlighting collaboration on issues like North Korea, climate change, and women's peace and security. The meeting concluded with gestures of goodwill and mutual appreciation for continued cooperation. President Joko Widodo welcomed Malaysian Foreign Minister Muhammad Hassan for discussions at Merdeka Palace, Jakarta. Accompanied by Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi, they addressed pressing issues, including unresolved border disputes and the rights of Indonesian migrant workers. Both nations affirmed their commitment to creating a specialized mechanism for migrant workers. Economic cooperation, particularly along the border regions, was also a focal point. Indonesia and Malaysia reiterated their strong economic ties within ASEAN and discussed international matters such as the EU's deforestation regulation and the situation in Gaza. Retno emphasized shared stances on these issues, highlighting the enduring commitment of both countries to strengthen bilateral relations. Thailand and Belgium convened the second round of policy consultations on February 6, 2024, aiming to bolster bilateral cooperation and understanding. Ms. Somruddhi Pupurnanake, Acting Director General of Thailand's Department of European Affairs, co-chaired the session with Mr. François Delhaye from Belgium's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Discussions encompassed various sectors, including politics, economy, education, and sustainable development. Both nations emphasized collaboration in logistics, biotechnology, and academia. They affirmed commitments to high-level exchanges and cooperation in trade, investment, and clean energy. The meeting also touched upon global issues like Israel-Gaza, Russia-Ukraine tensions, and Myanmar. Thailand sought Belgium's support as the EU Council President for negotiations on the Thai-EU Free Trade Agreement and Schengen visa exemptions. This dialogue signifies the 156th anniversary of Thai-Belgian relations, fostering ongoing diplomatic engagement. Mr. Xavier Bettel, Luxembourg's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, embarks on an official visit to Thailand from February 8 to 9, 2024. Deputy Foreign Minister Jakapong Sangmani will host a luncheon in his honor, fostering discussions on various cooperation areas. This visit, coinciding with the 65th anniversary of Thai-Luxembourg diplomatic relations, aims to bolster ties in trade, investment, fintech, research, education, and development cooperation. Additionally, Deputy Prime Minister Betel will deliver a lecture at Chulalongkorn University and engage with the private sector and Bangkok's governor on urban environmental challenges. A study visit on water management along the Chao Phraya River highlights mutual interests in sustainable development. This diplomatic exchange also addresses regional and global issues of shared concern. Enterprise Singapore, Enterprise SG, and the Infocom Media Development Authority, IMDA, unveiled Singapore's first generative artificial intelligence, GenAI, sandbox on February 7, 2024, aiming to equip small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, with practical experience in utilizing GenAI solutions. This initiative supports SMEs across sectors like retail, F&B, education, and hospitality to enhance marketing, sales, and customer engagement efforts. The sandbox offers diverse GenAI tools, enabling SMEs to streamline marketing content creation and implement GenAI-powered chatbots for personalized customer interactions. By leveraging GenAI capabilities, SMEs can optimize operational efficiency, elevate customer experiences, and expedite digital transformation journeys, aligning with Singapore's broader efforts to bolster its AI ecosystem and foster innovation in the business landscape. China's newest Antarctic research station, Kinling, commenced operations on Wednesday, marking the country's fifth research facility on the continent. Kinling Station joins China's extensive scientific endeavors in Antarctica, contributing to research in various fields such as climate change, glaciology, and biodiversity. The station's inauguration underscores China's commitment to advancing polar research and enhancing international cooperation in scientific exploration. With its strategic location in Antarctica, Kinling Station is poised to play a crucial role in expanding our understanding of the region's environmental dynamics and its implications for global climate systems. Senior commerce officials from China and the United States engaged in discussions to prepare for the inaugural deputy minister-level meeting of the China-US Commerce and Trade Working Group. China's Ministry of Commerce disclosed that both sides addressed bilateral economic and trade concerns with candid and extensive dialogue. Wang Chauhan, China's international trade representative, emphasized the stabilizing role of economic cooperation in bilateral relations during a video call with Marissa Lago, U.S. Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade. Wang expressed China's commitment to implementing consensus from the San Francisco meeting and fostering cooperation amidst differences. Concerns were raised regarding U.S. regulatory constraints on Chinese semiconductor and cloud services, along with issues of equitable treatment for Chinese firms and trade restrictions on China's photovoltaic products within the U.S. market. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and South Korean counterpart Cho Tae-yul voiced their opposition to the pan-securitization of economic matters during a phone conversation. Wang congratulated Cho on his new role, highlighting the importance of bilateral relations and the positive impact on regional peace. Wang stressed China's consistent policy towards South Korea and urged adherence to the One China principle to maintain political foundations for bilateral ties. Both sides emphasized the interconnectedness of their economies and pledged to uphold stability in industrial and supply chains, rejecting politicization of economic issues. Cho affirmed South Korea's commitment to One China policy and proposed enhancing mutual trust, cooperation, and achieving sustainable development in bilateral relations. The leaders also discussed the situation on the Korean peninsula, advocating for dialogue and restraint to ease tensions. Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng, overseeing China-US economic and trade affairs, met with a delegation led by Jai Sham, Undersecretary for International Affairs at the U.S. Treasury, in Beijing. He emphasized implementing consensus from the San Francisco meeting between heads of state, urging collaboration through working groups to deepen exchanges, stabilize, and develop economic relations. Shambhav's visit coincides with the third meeting of the China-US Economic Working Group, established under joint leadership to foster economic dialogue. Guided by bilateral agreements, the working group facilitates exchanges between vice ministerial officials from China's Ministry of Finance and the U.S. Treasury, aiming to enhance cooperation for mutual benefit and advance economic ties between the two nations. President Isaac Herzog of Israel met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Jerusalem. Herzog expressed gratitude for U.S. support during the conflict with Hamas and emphasized the urgent need for the release of hostages held by the group. He condemned Hamas's actions and reaffirmed Israel's commitment to humanitarian aid and international law. Secretary Blinken echoed concerns for the hostages and emphasized the importance of protecting civilians. Both discussed efforts to resume hostage releases and potential for regional normalization, with Blinken highlighting positive developments in his regional visits. The meeting underscores ongoing cooperation between Israel and the U.S. amid regional challenges. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Argentinian President Javier Milei, expressing appreciation for Argentina's recognition of Hamas as a terrorist organization and unwavering support for Israel's defense rights. They discussed joint business delegations and shared commitment to free markets and prosperity. Netanyahu highlighted Iran as a mutual security challenge and praised Argentina's cooperation in security and diplomacy. Milei's steadfast support for Israel was acknowledged warmly. The meeting included officials from both sides, emphasizing the significance of bilateral relations. Netanyahu welcomed Milei's delegation to Jerusalem, affirming their shared goals of security, prosperity, and peace. Argentina officially designates Hamas as a terrorist organization. Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad, is carefully assessing Hamas's response conveyed through a Qatari mediator. The details of Hamas's reply have been received and are undergoing thorough evaluation by officials engaged in the negotiations. The exchange comes amidst ongoing diplomatic efforts to address tensions in the region. The response from Hamas, a Palestinian militant group, holds significant implications for the future trajectory of discussions between the parties involved. Mossad's meticulous scrutiny underscores the seriousness with which Israel is approaching the negotiation process. The outcome of these evaluations could shape the direction of diplomatic engagements in the region and potentially impact efforts towards achieving lasting peace. Riyadh. King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud chaired a cabinet session, reviewing recent diplomatic engagements. Discussions highlighted the meeting between King Salman and the Emir of Kuwait, reaffirming strong bilateral relations and a commitment to cooperation. The cabinet commended Saudi Arabia's support of the Islamic military counter-terrorism coalition, pledging 100 million Saudi riyals to its fund. Hosting COP16 in December was emphasized as pivotal for combating desertification. Important decisions included Saudi Arabia's accession to the International Atomic Energy Agency Privileges Agreement and MOAs with Montenegro, Algeria, the UK, and Turkey on various industrial and mining collaborations. Further initiatives involve promoting direct investment with Trinidad and Tobago and regulatory cooperation with China in pharmaceuticals and medical devices. In Riyadh, the Saudi-Switzerland Roundtable meeting convened, featuring Minister of Investment Eng. Khalid bin Abdulaziz Al Falih and Swiss Federal Councillor Guy Parmelin. Al Falih highlighted Saudi Arabia's burgeoning investment landscape, projecting opportunities exceeding $3.3 trillion by the decade's end. Discussions encompassed finance, infrastructure, healthcare, and tourism. Parmelin praised Saudi achievements, including securing Expo 2030 and the bid for World Cup 2034, underscoring Switzerland's eagerness to partake in Saudi's development journey. The meeting delved into enhancing bilateral investment ties, fostering entrepreneurship, and facilitating private sector involvement. 3 MOAs were inked, focusing on entrepreneurship development and private sector collaboration in technology and real estate. The event solidified the commitment to strengthen economic cooperation between Saudi Arabia and Switzerland. Riyadh. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman engaged in discussions with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, focusing on bilateral relations and collaborative opportunities. Deliberations also addressed regional advancements and joint efforts to bolster security and stability. The meeting, attended by high-level officials including Defense Minister Prince Khalid bin Salman and Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan, emphasized mutual cooperation and strategic alignment between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Princess Rima bint Bandar, Saudi ambassador to the USA, and Dr. Musad bin Muhammad Al Iban, Minister of State and National Security Advisor, were among the dignitaries present. The dialogue underscores the commitment of both nations to strengthen diplomatic ties and address regional challenges in a coordinated manner. Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani, confirmed receipt of a positive reply from Hamas regarding a hostage agreement framework. While details remain undisclosed due to sensitivity, Al Thani expressed optimism during a joint press conference with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Discussions centered on recent regional escalations and their implications for security and stability. Al Thani urged restraint, emphasizing the devastating toll of ongoing conflicts, particularly in Gaza. Qatar's commitment to humanitarian aid for Palestinians was underscored, including evacuations and medical assistance. Blinken praised Qatar's efforts and affirmed ongoing diplomatic engagements to secure a lasting ceasefire and advance regional peace and security. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi reaffirmed Iran's right to develop a peaceful nuclear program, rejecting external interference during a meeting with ambassadors in Tehran. Raisi cited the International Atomic Energy Agency 15 official statements affirming Tehran's peaceful nuclear pursuits. He criticized nuclear weapon states for obstructing Iran's legitimate aspirations. Raisi emphasized Iran's commitment to diplomacy despite challenges, including past wars and sanctions. The president reiterated Ayatollah Khamenei's fatwa against nuclear weapons, underscoring Iran's adherence to Islamic principles. Meanwhile, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi planned a visit to Iran to discuss its nuclear program. Recent reports indicate Iran's reduction in highly enriched uranium production but continued enrichment up to 60%. The JCPOA, signed in 2015, remains a point of contention, with Iran dismissing allegations of violations while negotiations stall following the US withdrawal in 2018. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Andrei Rudenko declared the impossibility of resuming peace treaty discussions with Japan, citing unprecedentedly low relations due to Japan's short-sighted policy. Rudenko emphasized the necessity for Tokyo to abandon hostile actions toward Russia for any normalization. He highlighted the shift in negotiations from a post-war treaty to a comprehensive document on peace and friendship. Rudenko criticized Japan's response to Russia's military operation, citing sanctions and anti-Russian sentiments. The long-standing dispute over the southern Kuril Islands remains a major obstacle. Talks have stalled since Japan imposed sanctions in response to the Ukraine situation, leading Russia to suspend negotiations. Russia maintains its sovereignty over the islands and asserts its commitment to international agreements. Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani, met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Lusail Palace. Discussions revolved around the strong bilateral ties and the escalating violence in the Gaza Strip and occupied Palestinian territories. Al Thani stressed the urgent need to end aggression in Gaza, highlighting its impact on regional and global security. He urged all parties to exercise restraint and prioritize diplomacy to prevent further bloodshed and ensure civilian safety. Al Thani emphasized addressing the root causes of regional escalation, particularly the Palestinian issue, and cautioned against halting funding for UNRWA, emphasizing the agency's humanitarian role. The meeting underscored Qatar's commitment to peace and stability in the region. Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced the exemption of Qatari citizens with ordinary passports from tourist visas, permitting entry once every 6 months for up to 15 days. The decision aims to facilitate travel and strengthen ties between the two nations. However, individuals intending frequent visits must obtain an entry visa from Iranian embassies or consulates. The move reflects Iran's commitment to enhancing tourism and fostering bilateral relations with Qatar. This exemption simplifies travel procedures for Qatari tourists, encouraging cultural exchanges and economic cooperation between the two countries. U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, carried out a targeted strike in Iraq, eliminating a senior leader of Kataib Hezbollah responsible for orchestrating attacks on U.S. troops in the region. The strike was in retaliation to recent assaults on American service members. No civilian casualties were reported. The United States reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding its personnel, vowing to retaliate against any threats to their safety. This action underscores the U.S. military's resolve to counter hostile entities endangering its forces. The strike signals a proactive stance in addressing security challenges in the region, demonstrating America's readiness to respond decisively to protect its interests and personnel. Iranian-backed Houthi insurgents initiated 6 anti-ship ballistic missile (ASBM) attacks from Yemen-controlled territories toward the southern Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. 3 missiles targeted the MV Nasher, a Greek-owned bulk carrier, resulting in minor damage to the vessel but no injuries. The USS Laboon intercepted and neutralized a 3rd missile. Meanwhile, the MV Morning Tide, a UK-owned cargo ship, evaded 3 ASBM strikes in the southern Red Sea without harm. Both ships remain operational. The assaults underscore escalating tensions in the region, with Houthi militants continuing to threaten maritime security. The attacks highlight the need for heightened vigilance and international efforts to curb such provocations. South Korea's Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries has issued licenses for ferry services between Donghai and Vladivostok, Russia, and Donghai and Sakaminato, Japan. The permits allow for separate voyages following the cessation of the Eastern Dream Ferry's weekly service from 2009 to 2019. The license for the Donghai-Sakaminato route was granted on January 31, ensuring consistent operations. Duwon Shipping, the operating company, confirmed adherence to the schedule for both routes. The ferry will depart from Donghai on Tuesdays, arrive in Vladivostok on Wednesdays, and return to South Korea on Fridays. These permits mark a renewed effort to facilitate maritime travel between South Korea, Russia, and Japan, enhancing regional connectivity. Russia, Rosaboronexport's General Director, Alexander Mikhailov, expressed Saudi Arabia's and other Middle Eastern nations' interest in collaborative weapon production. Mikhailov emphasized the benefits of joint development and manufacturing of weapons and combat vehicles, considering it the most favorable cooperation format. Speaking at the World Defense Show 2024 in Riyadh, he highlighted Rosaboronexport's extensive experience in industrial partnerships in the region. Mikhailov proposed joint ventures for developing new weaponry and localizing production of advanced Russian products for various military branches. The international exhibition, held in Riyadh from February 4 to 8, serves as a platform for defense industry leaders to explore partnerships and showcase innovations. A report released at India Energy Week 2024 by the International Energy Agency, IEA, forecasts India as the primary driver of global oil demand growth until 2030. The surge is attributed to urbanization, industrialization, and rising middle-class prosperity. India's economic expansion, population growth, and demographic shifts are set to propel its role in global oil markets significantly. The report projects India's oil demand to increase by almost 1.2 MBD, accounting for over a third of the anticipated 3.2 MBD global rise, reaching 6.6 MBD by 2030. Furthermore, the study emphasizes India's focus on clean cooking initiatives, leading to a substantial surge in LPG imports. The event also highlights India's emphasis on startups and energy transition goals. The Government of India has initiated several policies and schemes to promote investment in the Union Territory (UT) of Jammu and Kashmir. These include the J&K Industrial Policy 2021-30, Industrial Land Allotment Policy, Private Industrial Estate Development Policy, and more. As a result, investment in the industrial sector has seen significant growth, with figures rising from 296.64 crore rupees in 2019-20 to 2,417.19 crore rupees in 2023-24. The investments span various sectors such as tourism, handloom, and food processing, as well as infrastructure development. Minister of State for Home Affairs, Shri Nityanand Rai, highlighted these initiatives in response to a query in the Rajya Sabha. The Minister of State for Home Affairs, Shri Nityanand Rai, revealed in a written response to a query in the Rajya Sabha that the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir has notably improved. The data provided indicates a decline in terrorist-initiated incidents, encounters, civilian casualties, and security personnel fatalities over the past 5 years. For instance, terrorist incidents dropped from 153 in 2019 to 46 in 2023. Additionally, no terrorist incidents were recorded in Ladakh during this period. The government's zero-tolerance policy towards terrorism has contributed to these positive developments, fostering a safer environment in the region, according to the statement. Chief of Defence Staff, CDs, General Anil Chauhan emphasized the need for a robust Aatmanirbhar defence space ecosystem during the inauguration of DEFSAT 2024, a 3-day space seminar and exhibition in New Delhi. Chauhan underscored the significance of space in augmenting combat capabilities and called for industry collaboration to bolster counter-space capabilities for safeguarding national space assets. He highlighted government initiatives like Mission Dev Space 2022 and the burgeoning startup ecosystem in the space sector. The seminar, organized by Sun Jose and Satcom Industry Association, India, aims to foster coordination between civil, commercial, and defense space programs to leverage the dual-use nature of the sector. Guyanese Prime Minister meets Indian President to strengthen bilateral ties. Prime Minister Mark Phillips of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana met with President Draupadi Murmu of India at Rashtrapati Bhavan. President Murmu welcomed Prime Minister Phillips, highlighting the historical, cultural, and linguistic ties between India and Guyana through their shared colonial past and Indian diaspora. They discussed the need to diversify bilateral trade and enhance cooperation in Ayurveda, biofuels, and agriculture, particularly in millets, to address climate change and food insecurity challenges. President Murmu commended Guyana's presidency of CARICOM and the United Nations Security Council, emphasizing the country's advocacy for reformed multilateralism. She also lauded Guyana's initiatives in climate change, green energy, and sustainable development. India's Vice President, Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, inaugurated the World Sustainable Development Summit 2024 at Ferry in New Delhi, emphasizing the need for international leadership to integrate environmental protection and climate justice into global societies. He praised India's initiatives in balancing economic growth with ecological preservation, citing the nation as a beacon of inspiration worldwide. Highlighting the interconnectedness of global challenges, he stressed the importance of people and nature-centric approaches to sustainable development. Dhankar underscored India's commitment to renewable energy, which fosters economic growth, job creation, and technological innovation. Expressing concerns over climate change, he called for harmonizing economic progress with sustainable development for future generations' benefit. The event was attended by dignitaries including Prime Minister Mark Phillips of Guyana and Union Minister Bhupender Yadav. Union Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh revealed in the Lok Sabha that India is actively conceptualizing the roadmap for future moon exploration missions. Feasibility studies are underway for robotic exploration involving orbiters, landers, rovers, and lunar sample collection, eventually leading to human landings on the moon. Additionally, the proposed Bharatiya Antariksh station, BUS, set to be developed by ISRO, is in the conceptualization phase, with plans to assemble it by 2035 in a phased manner. The overall architecture, module types, docking ports, and other aspects are being studied. Once feasibility studies are complete, funds will be allocated for formal government approval of the space station project. Thank you for tuning into Amaravati Today's Daily Global Roundup. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Your support means the world, and we look forward to bringing you more engaging content in the days to come. Thank you for being a part of the Amaravati Today community.